forgot to do my fancy fade. It's all right. I just cut instead of like doing a transitional fade. Go live. It should be only a 10-second delay. There it is. Yeah, we're live. Woo. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Chris has got to go do a quick pre-show ritual. I actually don't know what he's doing.
Pre-show.
He will BRB, be right back. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. I can't really see the phone from here to see who else tuned in, but shout out to everybody tuned in. Hopefully Cream Team Hefe's tuned in. That's my guy. I saw my boy Tanner come in on Facebook. I don't know if he's still watching, but I seen him completing some, I think it's EMT stuff, like firefighting or EMT, something pretty big. So congrats to Tanner for that. My boy Ben. Shout out to Ben as usual, and then Bill Brown sitting next to me, but also tuned in on Facebook.
Always.
Thank you for your support.
Always.
Thank you for your support, bud. We got an interesting show planned for tonight. A couple good topics. Love to hear your guys' feedback on some of these things. Are you grabbing Red Bulls right now?
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably good off a Red Bull. I'm already jacked up on coffee. I'm good.
You know, I've never had a Red Bull by itself. Only in a drink.
Never.
That's
an interesting fun
That's
fact.
fucking...
Will you close
I
that
wish
door?
I could just interview... whatever. I want to just put Bill in like a think tank and interview him.
Bring it.
I want to, I'll call it a deposition. I want to bring a deposition to Bill and have him hooked up to the Scientology truth
what is it?
detector. It's called something.
Yeah, it's.
And I want to get him to go clear.
But it's just like electricity, right? Or does something?
What, it zaps
It's
you?
fucking
No.
snake oil,
Fuck,
man.
I used to know what it was called.
It's all snake oil.
Yeah. It's all snake oil. Bro, there's some really important people involved with Scientology. Like,
yeah.
very wealthy, like, impactful people.
You know, I went to the Church of Scientology.
I didn't know that. How would I know that?
Oh my
You're
God.
Catholic.
Bro. We were bored. Me and two guys that you know from Calvin were driving around Hollywood, and we passed it. We were like, that'd be funny if we went. It was like 10 p.m. on a Friday, and we ended up going in there.
And they gave you a job?
They wanted me to join because they knew we were powerful.
Yeah.
You know,
like
they
this
were
guy.
like, they were all over it. To the point to where they were we're playing basketball the next day, and they were organizing people to come out and get us in a van. They're like, we're going to come pick you up. Don't worry about it. We're going to bring you guys back. They wouldn't even let us leave. They had no soul. These motherfuckers had black in their eyes. It was crazy. We watched the video.
Scary.
Finally, Natai's like, yo, we got to get out of here. We were in there for hours.
Is Natai, does he subscribe to any religion? I know he's Indian, so like Sikhism or Buddhism or anything, or
What, Hindu?
was he raised in
he was raised Hindu.
Hindu? Okay.
Yeah.
Best looking Hindu guy. Should be in Bollywood.
He should be in Bollywood.
He should be in Bollywood.
Yeah.
He's scuba diving right now.
Is he? I know.
Oh.
I know Michael Lynch is scuba diving.
Yeah, that's why he's with that crew.
Okay, cool.
Sneaking Zannies.
Sneaking bars.
Is it King of the Hill? But that's the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
There's a girl I was watching on
King of Queens.
King of Queens.
Yeah,
There you go.
she got like
Leah
bashed after
Remini.
leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big. Yeah.
We talked about her at the place. I brought her up.
Remini or
I
whatever.
brought her right up.
Oh, nice.
They said she was high maintenance, crazy.
Tom Cruise is like all about it.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, before we get too sidetracked and let's get into the show here.
Woo!
What is this? Oh, is that the baby?
I'm pumped up.
Hi. Yeah, boys.
Hi, Boo Boo. Sorry.
Is he in Israel?
Yes. Just totally ruining it.
Yeah, we're just like live.
Babe,
we're live.
We're live right now.
Small country, big dreams.
We're literally live.
Israel.
There it is.
Big win for Netanyahu.
Babe, we're live right now. I love you. Bye, Boo Boo.
Mhm.
Love you.
All right, so let's get back on track.
I'm back.
Shout out to everybody who's tuned in on Instagram, on YouTube. We got the Star Child stress test. I think that's probably Emily. I don't know. Star Child
I don't know what Star Child is.
That's probably her. But shout out to Star Child. We got Tanner, Ben, Bill. I don't know. You want to give some shout outs for the Instagram?
We had Donato in there, Brogan, and a couple others, but I think they all moved over to YouTube.
All right. So we got some YouTube stuff going on here.
Yes, that's your girl.
Yeah. So we are just letting everybody trickle in right now. If you guys got any questions, comments from the last week's show, feedback, we'd love to hear from you. But we're just going to take maybe another minute or two to let people share the video, tell their friends, tag them on Instagram, whatever you guys want to do. And then we'll go ahead and get started here in a second. We had a pretty kick-ass intro. If you're tuned in on YouTube or Facebook, let me know what you thought of the new song choice. I had like a little EDM trance rave intro going that I personally love. Bill was vibing with it.
Oh yeah,
Bill liked
stuff.
But let me know what you guys think of the intro.
Come with me, my children.
Follow
me.
I need to take that motivational speech and then like have it build up, because it doesn't build up. It kind of lays flat near the end of it. It kind of just sort of tails off, and then we're kind of like live. You know, it would be nice if it had more of like a crescendo, like something to build up. Oh, my boy Dark Knight's in here. Matthew Kazama, what's up, brother? Trained to be a doctor. My man.
Trained to be a doctor?
Great player. Probably the best player we have in our crew, honestly. He's really good.
Better than you? Better than Killshot Cal?
Well, I'm a different player. He's a killer. He's a shooter. And I'm a strategist. I'm more of the team captain when it comes to plays called, like play calling, and keeping... I take in everyone's individual play styles into account and then sort of corral us as we rotate through. But as far as his skill set, we got a couple. I mean, we're all really good players, but he's got the highest kill to death ratio. I think he might have the second longest kill. I got the most wins, of course, because I'm the winner. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's kind of like a lighthearted discussion before we get really rolling here into the show. But it's interesting how much real-time calculation you have to do to be successful in these games. Not just the performing of, okay, there's a person, aim at that person, shoot at that person. But when you're moving through a strategy game as a team, you have to like understand that. It's not just aim, shoot. It's like, yo, there's a group of us here. This is the goal. We have to get through these people into this area to accomplish our goal. What's the best way to do that? What's the safest way to do that? And to take in everyone's different play style and like call the shots or call the plays, call the rotations to be successful. It's a really, really fascinating sort of real time.
Sounds like building a company.
It's a lot of educated guessing, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, this is where these people are going to be coming from. You know, someone's here. We don't have eyes on them yet. And it's like it's a very cool sort of military simulator, which I love. All right, so shout out my boy Chris just tuned in. Dark's in as well. Bill, Tanner, I told you guys all what's up. Tanner, hopefully if you're still tuned in, man, I wanted to give you congrats. Like I said earlier on the EMT thing. I think it's EMT or firefighting, or you might be doing both actually. But keep up the good work, man. That's awesome. So as is tradition with the Lost in the Sauce show, we'd like to get a quick 30-second meditation in before we really get started. It's more like a 15-second meditation.
Yeah, I like it. We're down to 10 seconds now.
It's a 10-second meditation. So if you guys are out there in the audience, if you care to join us, feel free. If not, we're going to go ahead and get centered, and then we'll get right into it. You guys good?
Yeah.
You guys are feeling good? There's something about it just gets me in the zone. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and count it down. We'll kick it off. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Don't kick my chair because it rocks my cameras. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live. We are live, Lost in the Sauce show. I'm your host, Ryan Andrew Rhodes, a.k.a. Killshot California. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm running out of ideas for my intros week in and week out. But as you see, we got behind the scenes. Bill is camera ready tonight. We also have back again. I think this is 3 weeks in a row, ladies and gentlemen. My lovely co-host. He's getting more bronze. He's surfing. He's dropping weight. Ladies and gentlemen, he got his license back this week. He's better looking by the minute. My second in command. My general on the move, Chris Shabo Jones. Chris, how you doing, brother?
If anyone needs something done and they can't get it done, hit my number. I got you.
Hit my line.
That's a hit my line. I can do it.
You excited?
Because I can do all things. Say it out loud. I can do all things. Yeah, I'm happy.
You excited for
tonight's
tonight's
show?
show?
Come on, Tiger Woods.
Oh, I love it. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it, but that's all.
I'm fired up.
Anytime I get a little weird during the day, I got pulled over, and the first thing I said was Tiger Woods.
But you, for all the viewers,
Cream Team Hefe's in the building.
Cream Team Hefe is in the building. Shout out Cream Team. But ladies and gentlemen, you guys know him as behind the scenes Bill. He is front and center 2 weeks in a row, looking like the dapper Dawn. He's got the hair growing out. He's got a little gray in the beard, but he's young in the heart. You know him as behind the scenes Bill. Bill Brown, how you feeling, bud?
I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you so much.
I know. I need to like. I'm just gonna start taking notes for this.
Bill was doing ecstasy in the '90s, like early '90s.
Oh yeah.
UNLV, when UNLV won the championship in 1990, Bill was on like 7 Mollies.
And having a great time.
So let's do our weekend update, and then we'll get into that. I think that would just be a fun one. To
talk
about. Just crazy.
I got so much. Oh my
revolution.
I got stories.
So we had a great weekend. I know that we had a great weekend, but let's tell the audience a little bit about what was going on. How about you want to start, Chris? How was your weekend?
I quit my job Friday. The last time I will ever work for the man, which felt really, really good. Can't talk about in a bunch of details, but going out on my own with some partners, and so that was super exciting. So Monday was like, my God, it wasn't Sunday. Like the anxiety of Sunday wasn't there. Absolutely amazing. So did that, rolled that into some Venice on Sunday, and then all I was thinking about was Game of Thrones and Tiger Woods, obviously, and we'll get into that. But then pretty much that was it. And I surfed on Saturday. Yeah.
How was the surf?
I'm down 20 pounds and I'm stronger than I've ever been, so I popped right up and I flew down the line.
You want to tell them a little bit about your background as a surfer, a stand-up surfer?
No, yeah. So I grew up in the water. I got my first surfboard when I was 8 years old. I opened all my Christmas presents. I thought I got everything. My dad said go into the bathroom, and I went into the shower, and there was a Nev surfboard. So like I grew up in the water. Then bodyboarding really hit our town, and I was a really, really good bodyboarder, but always could fuck around on anything that people did in the water. I was catching dinner out in the water. Long story short, I started chasing money at 19, got away from the water, and got lost in the sauce. Would dabble in it with you, like I body surfed a lot, but like I wasn't taking it really serious. I've always been in the water. I lived in Newport Beach, blah blah blah. But there was guys that like were really body surfers, and I was just kind of out there smoking cigs and like taking the biggest wave just to try and show that I'm one of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I'm down to 214 pounds. I'm in the best shape of my life. And I surfed all last summer with you guys. I struggled, but there was glimpses of like, okay, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. There was promise. B-Show said, you're a surfer, dude. Yeah, I saw you, So like, I can go out and not make the company look bad, but I'm not like, I want to be really good because I know how good I can be.
No, absolutely.
And on Saturday, popped right up, flew down the line, feeling real good. I'm pumped.
How big was it out there?
2 to 3.
2 to 3, 59 degrees.
Water was 57.
Were you 4'3"? What kind of wetsuit?
I was in a 3'4" with a ripped knee.
Nice. So
I earned it. Yeah, I earned it.
Absolutely.
I earned it.
How was Brant surfing well?
Yeah, it was just good to get out there. We had to hash some shit out, you know what I mean? So the first thing we were like, yo, let's go surf. Perfect. Let's get in the water. Got back to the basics. I call it blocking and tackling. Creep tape.
So then, apart from that, I mean, let's just jump right into the old weekend check-in. Obviously, Tiger Woods winning the Masters. I mean, I'll go on. I'll have my own thing about that.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. You gave it mixed reviews. I think you gave it like a 6.5.
I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to explain that?
Oh, you put me on ice for 3 years. You better come out strong.
Yeah.
And I felt like when Sopranos did that one year, it was when they waited. It was the last season. When you went into the last season of Sopranos, I want to say it was that song, I'll Be Watching You, was like the opener. Who sings that?
I mean, I'll be missing you.
I'll be
like
watching
the Sting
you
song?
every move. Yeah, the Sting song.
Yeah.
And that for like, I was expecting that from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting I'm gonna lock in and be like blown away. And what I noticed, what they were doing, they were just they were tying the loose ends up.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're just painting it, whatever. I mean, you did find out, like Jon Snow did find out who he is.
Mhm.
Big deal.
Yeah. Should we disclaimer this with spoilers and shit?
spoilers,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you guys haven't seen
Fuck
it,
him.
because I know my girl hasn't seen it. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Earmuffs. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Jon Snow found out who he is. And then what else? I mean, Bran saw,
and then what?
and then Bran saw the Kingslayer, which
Yeah.
was that was cool.
Yeah.
And we just gave him the look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really the only two things that I got. I mean, I'm excited, but I wasn't like, oh my god, it didn't
Yeah.
live up.
Absolutely.
And plus, coming off the high of Tiger during the day, I mean, that was a huge thing.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and
Well, let's just get the stats. 25 years spread from when he won his first championship to now. Okay.
first major in
First
10
major.
years, I think.
14 years.
14, yeah.
But it's that's like Jordan winning a championship and then I'm going to get back in this. And then 25 years later winning it again.
Mhm.
2007, he went through all the drama with his wife, or 2009, I think it was. Took a golf club to the face, sex rehab, went
Yeah.
to treatment,
Yeah.
right? And the DUI was 2 years ago.
Yeah. 2 years.
He's had, I think, like 5 back surgeries. And all the little kids that like, you know how like the LeBron Jordan argument goes on and you're like, listen, kid, you don't even know. Well, there isn't like a LeBron in golf now. Like Tiger is Tiger. He is the Jordan. But now at least the younger generation got to see what we got to see growing up.
Yeah.
I was in high school when Tiger came out. The commercials, the whole rollout. You got to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even fucking blink. Did you watch it?
Absolutely.
He didn't blink.
I mean, I've been in on the golf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to let everyone sort of, and then I'll jump in.
I just think there's a message of hope in it, redemption, and that's what I got. I was just so happy for him.
Mhm.
And the high five with his kid who was behind him, he just threw it out like pff. That 4 minutes post that putt was absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
And you got to see emotion that he let out.
Mhm.
Oh, I mean, bro, he's a grinder. He was at the gym at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Sunday.
Yeah. His discipline, his commitment,
Yeah.
his routine is.
I'm stepping up my game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. You know what? Before we
I'm
get,
stepping up my game.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far off track, but hopefully we can find. Maybe Bill will be able to help us find the links to this. But there is a YouTube video on Kobe Bryant's routine and his dedication to his craft. And if you guys want someone to get you gassed up and to get you motivated and to reevaluate how your vision and what you're doing to get to that next level, do some research on Kobe Bryant and how he approached the game of basketball. He is by far, every coach, Phil Jackson, who worked with all of them, Jordan, fucking all of them,
Yeah.
says that no one ever outworked Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
An absolute animal.
I'll tell you, and mental warfare is a big thing with these guys. So Jason Williams, who played for Duke, was coming into the league hot as a rookie. Kobe Bryant was playing him, and Jason Williams showed up to the stadium 2 hours early to practice.
Mm-hmm.
He walked in and Kobe was there. 2 hours goes
Like
by.
in the dark. Yeah.
Kobe's there. He's like, okay, this guy's the best player in the league. Like, whatever. He had been there for 2 hours before that. He found out.
Mhm.
Jason Williams is like tired. He's like, man, we got the game. I'm gonna get out of here. And he left. Kobe was still there, sweating.
Mhm.
Kobe goes out, smashes him. And after the game, Kobe went up to Jason Williams, and Jason Williams said, yo, Kobe, what's with you being here like 4 hours before the game?
Mhm.
And he goes, I did that to let you know that no matter how hard you work, you will never outwork me.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for you.
Yep.
That's the mindset
Yeah, absolutely.
of a sick man.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
It's crazy how, I mean, you'd like to think that like people like Tiger Woods, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, that they're just this God-given, right? They're born with this, and to some extent, they have gifts, right? Yeah. They are exceptional in genetically, coordination, how their body develops over time, endurance, whatever. There is a genetic component, but to get to that next level,
you got to grind.
It's work. Just constant, day in, day out, grinding and getting better. I mean, it's not okay, I'm going to show up an hour early. I'm going to show up 2.5 hours early. Oh, I took 100 reps already. That's enough. No, I'm taking 500 reps, and then I need 500 more after to work on what I fucked up during the game. Like, that's that level of dedication. That's something I could never, ever get to. But I've seen people who had less ability, natural ability, than what I had in the sports that I played get to that next level because they were able to put in the reps, the extra hours, that grind that's necessary to be able to sort of move to that next level. You know what I mean? To be able to work on your craft.
Well,
I mean,
LeBron puts like $1 million a year into his body.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million a year into his body. Just take care of his body. Instead of going
just
out and partying, being at the club.
That's his,
It's his temple.
Yeah,
he takes care of it.
Absolutely. Behind the scenes, Bill, how was your weekend? I'm sure. I mean, you caught Game of Thrones. You saw the Masters. We golfed. We went and tore up the town a little bit. We went out to
some cool shit.
Yeah, checked out. You want to give us a little weekend update?
Went up to Saturday night. What did we do? Went up to Hollywood Boulevard and went to Guinness Book of World Records. What was the other one?
Ripley's Believe It
or Not. And they had some competitive stuff that me and you got into, and that was fun.
Yeah, Bill smashed me like everything.
It was a good day for me.
Yeah.
Not the monkey bars though. Monkey bars kicked my ass. But no, that was fun. Then me and you played golf, and then Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of Thrones?
I loved it, but because I know it's a build-up.
Would you out of a score of 1 out of 10? What are you giving it? Be honest. I know you're loyal to the Game of Thrones. What are we giving it, Bill?
An 8.
Okay.
What I liked was you saw all these people who were throughout, because I just watched all of them all over again. All these people that have been enemies and everything else, they were all under one roof, and it was cool. Like, that was the first time she saw a dog, or what's his name, the Hound. The Hound. That the youngest sister saw the Hound after she left him to die.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then, like you said, when the Kingslayer saw the kid, but the kid's not even the kid anymore, so that's crazy because the kid's just a 3-eyed raven, and that's it. And yeah, it was cool. It was cool, and then especially to find out, after we already knew, but John finding out that he's the king, and
now he's got to choose though. So I guess he's got to choose. Can he have both? Can he marry the aunt, or no? Or does he have to say, "Listen, I'm the king"? Like, how does this work?
So I'll get into, because I'm like a super fan.
Yeah.
And I can get into my thing, but before I jump in on Game of Thrones,
how was your weekend?
No, I want you to hear what
we
you
don't
say
ever
about,
ask how his weekend was. He's got to ask himself
about the Masters. What do you think about Tiger?
I think differently than both of you. Tiger's. I've been a big fan of Tiger for a long time, but I don't think that he won that. He used to win tournaments. He didn't physically win this one. He mentally won this one.
Thank you.
He mentally won
he's
this one.
not blowing
the
people
other
out
guys,
anymore.
No, the other guys
he scared the shit out of him.
Fell apart.
Yo, if you watch on par 4 and 5, he was walking ahead of his caddy and ahead of them on every hole just to let them know this is my fucking course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he fucked them up.
It was like Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
He beat him before he got in the ring, just like Mike Tyson actually.
And then
once he brought out the red shirt, once he had that mock turtleneck red shirt on,
he
playing
like
on Sunday in the final group, I mean, it's over.
Because there were some putts that he should have made that would have been like, okay, those are Tiger putts that he made that he missed, but the other dude just fell apart.
Yeah, Molinari specifically.
Yeah, it was rough.
Well, dude, your face and your.
I hear you, and that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the physical. Like, he used to just dominate. It wasn't even about people were scared. He would just dominate. This one was a mental domination.
Yeah, I don't know if at his age he's capable of bringing. He can't be 1999, 2003 Tiger.
No.
That Tiger is gone. But this is an evolution of his game, right? Yeah. Learning that, like, okay, the body's only going to let you do these many things. It's only going to let you hit the ball this far, and we can only do this many reps because we're going to start failing. Like, the body will start to fail.
For sure.
Keeping healthy, eating right, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, he still has all of that 25 years or however long he's been in professional golf of being the greatest, winning, losing, blowing people out, coming up short, like all of that experience of being who he is, sort of in a culmination to like push through to get that win. I mean, he was 2 strokes back when they teed off on Sunday. So, I mean, it's not one stroke. Like, it could go either way. Like, if the other guy started out and on fire, Francesco Molinari, and he started playing well, it would have been, he would close the door on him. But
I just thought a lot of his father too, you know, like in heaven, and watching what he's gone through, and you know, having his family there, and just what a great story of a comeback.
Absolutely.
You know, like 2 years ago he was asleep behind his wheel, passed out.
Did you see that thing on Instagram? I saw it on Instagram.
Where they showed him?
Yeah, where everyone's just saying how bad, like, oh, he's never going to do this.
He's never going to.
And
I love
just
that.
sitting there watching it. Yeah, that was awesome.
So Hefe says incest is accepted and preferred with the Targaryens, keeps bloodline pure and helps with dragon control.
Oh, I like that. I'll comment on that.
What do you got?
All right, so I appreciate the feedback. I don't know if you necessarily call it feedback more than it's just a comment on the setting of Game of Thrones. But my weekend was good. It was great to sort of like get out and to be able to. I mean, I haven't had like a guys' night, like a boys' night. I haven't done that in so long. But it was just like, yo, Bill, let's go tear up the town a little bit. And like initially we were gonna go to Universal City Walk, but the damn thing closes. The Universal Studio theme park closes at 9 p.m. The City Walk closes at like 11. So like by the time we would have parked the car, we'd had maybe an hour or something. So I was like, you know what's open all the time? Fucking let's just go hit the Ave. You got Hollywood Boulevard. There's so much people watching to do, so many little things to go in and out of, or grab a dirty water dog, even though you were gonna freaking throw up every time we walked by. But did the tourist thing and just hopped in, you know. I'd done Guinness and Ripley's and what's the other one? The Wax Museum. I'd done all 3 with my mother when she came up. So I knew it was kind of fun. And we like went and putzed around and sort of mixed up, and that was cool. Played golf on Saturday. I shot a 35 in the dark, by the way, with the glow-in-the-dark balls. And for me, that's tied with my personal record on that course. That's only 5 strokes over par. For me, on 9 holes, that's pretty good. But I'm leaving strokes on the table. Like, I have so much more in me. Like I know I can do better. I know I can hit par on that course eventually. And I think I'll probably start inching up on that 34, 33, 32 range here in the next couple months. Just fine-tuning my game. But my first freaking swing, like, went in the freaking... it went into the freaking starter's booth. It went in the parking lot. And then my second swing, boom, off to the right. And I'm just like... I didn't let it take me out of my zone. I was like, you know what? Like, make the correction. And I just went back into my routine. I was like, you're standing a little bit too close to the ball. You know that. Let's just put it right where you've always put it when it goes the right where it's supposed to go. I just put it right there. Everything worked out. Nice backswing. Boom. Right on the green. And, but like 2 in a row like that, right when you start a round on like a bogey, a double bogey, triple bogey, like, you're just like, oh my God, it's going to be one of those days. But good thing is that we kind of got like, we got this group in front of us that was really slow. This guy was like teaching his little girls how to play, which, great. Teach your girls how to play. But there's also etiquette when you're on a golf course. Like, if there's a smaller group or a faster group coming in behind you, by all means, play through, lady. You know what I mean? Gentlemen, just go on. I'm going to teach them. Like, you guys can go ahead. None of that. And he's like giving us the stink eye. Like,
and we were
teaching my girls how to play.
We literally tried to go ahead of him just so we could go ahead. Didn't ask him to wait for us. Just go ahead of him. And the dude raced to the next hole to get in front of us. Yeah. And his girl's swinging like 6 times, missing the ball 6 times. And we're just like... Yeah, so needless to say, we didn't get a full first warm-up round. So we just kind of like we jumped over to like 8 and 6 and then 5. And then I really wanted, the point was just to play in the dark because we have these really good glow-in-the-dark balls. So it's kind of like, all right, let's just get some swings in. And then when the sun goes down, we'll start a new round. So that was fun. And then I've been so hyped on Game of Thrones for... Fuck, man.
Did you watch it on East Coast time or West Coast?
I knew it would hit HBO Go. Yeah. Depending on your cable provider, you got it at 6. Specifically, you're supposed to get it at 9 when you're on the West Coast. They got it at 9 at their time. But it hit HBO Go at 6 p.m. I saw the notification, so I knew it was ready. But we didn't finish up our round until about 8:45. I jammed home at 9 o'clock.
Proper 9.
But even then, what do? I go to season 7.
Watch the last one.
Last episode. Yeah. Just to get an even... And I'd already watched that episode 4 times this week. I'd already caught up 4 different times, and I still wanted to be fresh right out the gate. But as far as the episode, I think it's probably Bill said it, as far as tying up loose ends and then creating the setting for the new season going forward, I think it did a lot of that. But I'm not going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I'm probably more of like an 8.5, 9. I mean, just taking Game of Thrones at face value, just looking at the costumes, the settings, the production value, the writing, the quality of acting, how good the actors are, and how on screen their
chemistry,
their on-screen chemistry is just, it's so far beyond any other show. It's really hard not to like, if you're into Game of Thrones. Some people don't like medieval fantasy shit. They're just not into it. All right, I get it. But if you can buy in, like, the execution it's better than any show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even come close to nailing this sort of genre. But for me personally, there's a couple really big things that happen. Finding out that Jon Snow is the true heir to the kingdom and all of that. Now, here's the issue: is he's falling in love, and she's falling in love with him. As far as Daenerys, Jon doesn't want to be king, but the bloodline says he is the one to be king. He doesn't want to have anything to do with that. She wants to be queen, but the bloodline says no, not yet. So having to play with that, also that they're related, that could create some other issues. Maybe, as Cream Team said, within the Targaryen bloodline, keeping pure bloodlines is great, but how are the rest of the North and the other supporters who don't like Daenerys gonna be in support of that? Like, oh, now we have an incestual marriage that's gonna be Targaryen. It has nothing to do, I mean, his mother was a Stark, but his real name, his bloodline is Targaryen. So to see that play out is interesting. But at the end, the huge Jaime Lannister rolling into Winterfell and seeing Bran, now that can go a minute. It's not going to be great for Jaime because he's been, first of all, just the fact that he's a Lannister is a huge problem for anyone in the North. That's when, like, when the Tyrion mentions that the Lannister army is going to march north and help us fight the White Walkers, and she's like, "This bullshit. It's not going to happen." But everyone was like all pissed off just because it said Lannister army, and he's a Lannister. He's the hand of the queen. But now Jaime, the Kingslayer, the biggest shithead as far as militarily to their entire family, is now rolled up into the gates. Not to mention he pushed the fucking kid off of the tower, put him in a wheelchair.
Is there a chance that Bran doesn't say anything?
Now, here's the thing.
Because it's written. He's into this role.
Here's the perspective. Now, if he didn't push him off of that tower, does he become the three-eyed raven? Right? And Bran is not Bran. Bran is like God.
Yeah.
He's like a god now. And like that person he sees at the gate isn't the person he pushed off the tower.
Yeah.
Now, I think if I'm writing a show, you have to get the reveal. Whether or not Bran tells him himself, someone will get that information out, because that creates good drama in a show. Like, they will find out that Jaime's the one who pushed Bran, and then that will become something to deal with. But I think overall the theme is that we need to put our differences aside right now, come together and fight the common enemy, and then once we're done dealing with that, we can go back to being at each other's throats. But I loved seeing in the season 7 finale, before you start season 8, you have the Mountain and the Hound talking it out. You have obviously Tyrion seeing his sister who thinks that he killed their son, which he didn't. You find that out, all this stuff, information, and seeing everyone, even so Tyrion's his hand, the guy who's like the cocky swordsman dude.
Love him. He's got to go kill the Lannisters.
Yeah, so who teaches Jaime how to fight with his bad hand.
That's interesting.
Then becomes Jaime's guy. Yeah. Now he's being hired to kill them, but he loves all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a
I feel like he won't. He's not pulling that.
He's not going to. I don't think he will. Not. I think that will be, as an audience, that will be his moment, his make or break moment as a character, whether or not he sides with bad or good, because he's always been about the money.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, like I'm going for my check. If you got my check, I got your back. Yes. But he has a heart in there somewhere. You've seen it peak when he saves Jaime from getting burned by the dragon.
Yes.
You see him fighting for Peter Dinklage's character Tyrion. Many times he kind of has a glimpse of being a good guy. So I think he will get that opportunity where it's either one or both of them in the crosshairs, and he's going to choose compassion and love and just say fuck the money and go right out. That's what I think as far as a prediction. For those of you guys who saw it, who watched it, let us know what you think. If you have different feedback, I know Cream Team's obviously in. He knows the whole bloodlines and all that. But what do you guys think is going to happen next? You know what I mean? We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear some perspective. We're going to sort of make this a weekly topic because we're going to have another episode before next week's show. We'll be able to be able to get in and sort of dissect that next week. Few things I know we've sort of ran on the Game of Thrones thing, but as far as Tiger Woods, man, I personally was almost in tears watching it. I thought it was such an emotional, amazing. I mean, the golf commentators are biased because it's golf, but people, sports professionals, people who have like enough data to support them, say that this might be the greatest comeback of all time in any sport ever, just because of where he was, what happened, and where he's at now, the time and the difficulty to be able to rise to the top of a sport like golf is just so fucking difficult, especially over all of these years. But you had, I mean, the passing of his father, right? And then now he's full circle with his mother, his new girlfriend, the kids are there. I mean, the walk off of the 18th into the starters off to get his scores put into the books. I mean, that was such a just amazing moment. You know, he's all over the place, and he's very poised. Tiger's always been known for being very poised, at least on the course. He's always had, you know, the fist pump when he makes a good eagle putt or a birdie putt or whatever, you know. But he's always been a master of his emotions, and to see him sort of kind of like not lose it, but like in his own way, sort of connect with what the hell is really happening was like really powerful. I was very emotional, and just so fucking stoked for the sport of golf too, man. It is huge. Tiger brings so many new people to the sport of golf. So, you know, shout out to him. Not that he'll ever watch the show, man, but keep doing what you're doing. And fucking, it was just amazing. And I'm like in the golf game. You know what I mean? It's not just like me watching the Masters. Like, I've been grinding golf for the past 4 months of my life, like day in, day out. It's all I watch. It's all I talk about. It's all I think about. Besides Call of Duty and Game of Thrones, apparently. But weekend was great. With that being said, we got a couple things going on as far as current events. Chris, you want to sort of intro the current events, or you got a question over there?
Just things that came up. We talked about the Nipsey Hussle thing last week, and then Kodak Black came out and said some things that he shouldn't have said about Nipsey's wife, Lauren London, and then Kodak Black came out today.
But all right, so there was a clapback from T.I.
Yeah,
right?
Then T.I. you know, took him down from this museum that he owns down in Atlanta. Some phone calls were made to like radio stations to not play his music, and then Kodak Black came out today and called T.I.'s kids faggots. So that should be interesting, just how that kind of plays out. You know, I don't know. I don't know if T.I.'s a diet thug. You know what I mean? Like he's a real.
I mean,
you know,
his rap sheet would speak that he's most
he's
definitely
real. Like. And you can't
lifestyle.
you can't let people call your kid, you know. So it'll be like you got to be peaceful. So it could get kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be. I mean, I feel like T.I. he's done so much.
Kodak Black might need treatment.
I think he's got some mental health stuff going on for sure. I think most celebrities, just because of the nature of the lifestyle, probably have a lot of issues to deal with. But I will say that T.I. seemingly has been to jail enough. Like he made the mature move of reaching out to Kodak Black, and even if you watch the live feed of it, he doesn't like get all super disrespectful. He's like, "Yo, you're out of pocket. Like you need to work on this. Like this is not okay. This is someone's, you know, significant other, and like this is inappropriate. Like do better." Basically, I think he says like you need to do better. And that sounded like a mature stance for him to take. And T.I. is in and out of jail every freaking album. He's doing something, whether it's machine guns or drug charges or
back in the day.
But even until recently, like he was fighting a case. I think it was just a couple of years ago. So you'd like to think that he's sort of trying to push past that and quit repeating that cycle of, okay, now I got to go send some killers over to Kodak's house and then get tied up into some more. You know what I mean? I feel like he's starting to evolve out of that, but we'll see how the sort of drama unfolds. Now, someone like Kodak Black, I don't know a whole lot about him. He's fairly new on the scene, but from what I hear, like he is very much in the mix of like, you know, making these decisions, sometimes, you know, arguably poor decisions that could, you know, affect like, you know, jail time, shit like that. So whether it's, him personally doing something that he's gonna regret and going to jail for it, or being involved with a
you gotta
Tekashi
watch
6ix9ine type of situation.
Did you watch the video? It's just he's got gems. Like
I
left. To me, it's comedy. I love to laugh.
I didn't see the fag one, but I did see T.I. and then
funny.
I saw Kodak respond to what T.I. said, being like, "Oh, like I ain't in all that, like whatever," sort of brushed it off.
Yeah, Kodak is just funny. So like you kind of almost give him a pass because the way he says it and even called it, like you laugh. You're like, yo, this guy's funny.
Yeah, he's kind of leaned out of his mind.
Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah.
So that the Notre Dame thing burning down. Anything on that? What's the deal with that? Was that set on fire? Who did it, Bill?
They got somebody on. Supposedly, I saw the video, and it's some dude wearing a wrap on his head and wearing
a turban.
Yeah, a turban.
Okay.
And,
hijab.
Is that real?
Yeah. Oh, 100% real. And who knows? Who knows what it is?
That's not on the news.
Yeah. Well, it's on social media, and it was on the news, and that's how they found it. They found it from somebody actually filming. And you
Are
see
you anti-Muslim?
What are they? Islamophobic?
Are you?
Bro.
I know you're not. I'm just fucking with you.
As long as they don't fuck with me, I don't give a shit what anybody does. I mean, I don't agree with the Sharia law shit, but
with you, man.
there's a billion freaking Muslims out there. How can you say they're all bad?
Yeah, I think there's there is good people in any race, any religion, and there's also shitheads
people everywhere
in any race, any religion.
But there was someone with the garb running around with the possible fire.
Yeah, someone. Yeah, they had the whole gear on.
Okay,
they were running across building, and nobody was supposed to be there.
Are people? Not we, because I'm not really Christian or Catholic. I grew up that way, but is there a beef there?
What? With Sharia law, there's a beef against anybody who doesn't believe in Sharia law.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's a beef with anybody. You can be Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, whatever you are. And if you follow Sharia law, it basically just says, yeah, everybody.
Look at my girl.
Everybody's other religion is.
Rogan said
wrong.
It was a renovation gone bad.
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's a lot out there.
But I don't know. Mean, so we talked a little bit about this off camera.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that, let's say a Muslim guy wearing the traditional Muslim garb set fire to the fucking church in Notre Dame, and it's a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if there's a terrorist attack, this terrorist group, be it ISIS or whoever, is going to take credit to sort of push their agenda. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen that piece of information come out that, like, yes, this was done by these people and fuck America or supposedly fuck Christianity or
I guess
whatever.
How many churches have been burned down in the past?
In the last week, there's been 10. In the last year, there's been over 100.
That's what's weird.
Yeah, it is. It's eerie.
So it might be, if you're looking at things, and I'm saying I believe this, but if you're looking at things, it could be that the government in Macron is shady, doesn't want to come out and be like, hey man, we're dealing with this, and bug everybody out. You know, if we knew that people were burning down churches in LA, you'd be a little on edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and you don't want to have a race war or a religious war. Or
3 black churches were burned down this weekend too. So something's going on, man.
There's already
there's an it could just go back to we're in a spiritual war, whatever it is, Muslims, Christians, whatever. But there's something going on where they're burning down churches. So I'm just saying I'm not buying it was a renovation. I like to just do the deep dive. But then you run into some, there's a lot of fake news even on the deep dive. That's where you got to be careful.
Yeah. The fake news deep dive.
You'll go to research something like some alt to the media, like some alternative news, and you'll think, oh my god,
well they
were wearing these kind of boots on the moon. They didn't go, and then this guy's like, no. The fake news is on the fake, is on the alt too. So you gotta you have to just take it all in. Like, watch your CNN, watch your Fox, watch this, watch that, do your Reddit, 4chan, and this, and then go, okay, I still don't have the fucking answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
made my head spin just hearing you say that.
Yeah, there's a writer out there that is a writer for Time Magazine that put out a tweet that said that this wasn't an accident, that somebody went ahead and started this fire. Now, he's somebody who's supposed to be, legit.
Hefe said no mention of terrorism from white nationalists on the black churches.
Gotta love Cream Team Hefe. He just creates that solid
I got a
making 3 white dudes feel real good.
What is white nationalists?
It's a fucking Nazi scum.
No, but it's not.
It is.
It's not. You know what a nationalist is? This is where the shit gets crazy. You know what a nationalist is? Does anybody?
Well, I'm saying what we're talking about.
Hatred.
Yeah, what we're talking about is white, like the
new
losers
modern,
from that sit in their basement that fucking
it's
hail
just,
Hitler.
that's such a silly name to call somebody a white nationalist, or even like it's a negative thing being a
White
nationalist.
supremacy. Then that's
there
what
you
I'm
go.
calling it.
Yeah, but being a nationalist is a positive thing. It's a great thing. It's not a fucking negative thing.
The modern context is
it's
more
it's
neo-Nazi.
crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Evolution.
You want to look at? Oh, I don't even go into it. But Ruby Ridge, Waco, Texas. I mean, this is where the Oklahoma City bombing. That's where the white nationalist, neo-Nazi, this whole thing about
supposedly he was CIA,
the minority.
You ever dump into that?
Yeah.
McVeigh was CIA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a whole. That's a good deep dive.
They're purging the internet too, by the way, folks. So get your research in now. They're shutting it down.
Yeah, same with if you're called what do you call it? What do they call Republicans? They call them conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even be called a conservative now. You're automatically a racist.
What? That's not true, bro. That's just like you're listening to that's like bullshit. That's not even true.
Go on any college campus.
Well, who cares? It's college. They're fucking losers. Who cares?
That's their future.
They're not the future.
The young kids in college are supposed to be our future. No, that's who you have to worry about.
Come on.
What do you have to worry about then?
I'm not worried about anything.
Okay, good.
I think what he's trying to say is that you can't put too much credence in a comment from, a liberal group at, let's say, Berkeley being like the heartbeat of the nation.
Yeah, it's at
not
USC, it's at UCLA, it's at Kent State.
I mean, most college kids are pretty
campus.
liberal.
It's crazy.
All right. Love the political debate on the Lost in the Sauce show. But we have you have the Julian Assange thing on there. I didn't even say that. I don't know if we had enough time to dissect that. I really wanted to give you guys your props. We'll do that one next week.
Yeah.
But sort of the big meat and potatoes of the show here is we had some milestones. Was it today and yesterday?
I think
so
yesterday
Chris was 18 months yesterday.
18 months. I haven't even smoked weed.
In 18 months, and then Bill has 10 months today.
10 months today.
10 months today. So the topic that we sort of pulled out of that is milestones in recovery, and what does it feel like? What have you learned? You know what I mean? I remember we talked
a whole show.
We talked a little bit off camera about when Bill saw Chris get 10 months, and then now Bill having 10 months, and then Chris having 18 months. Looking back on Bill getting 10 months, and like the differences in what the improvements they thought they made versus what the improvements other people thought that they made, right? I mean, it's kind of a different dynamic getting that time and then having other people tell you like, oh my God, you've changed so much. But personally, you're like, but really? But have I? Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not really giving yourself the credit that's due to you. So look, Chris, let's start with you. So 18 months, man, it's a big, it's a huge amount of time. Obviously, we've talked about it a lot on the show. I'm sure you feel increasingly different almost week in and week out, but what are some of the things that you could point to, like the biggest changes that have taken place over 18 months?
I think the biggest changes, I would say philosophy. So when it comes to just in my head and how it works, in my mind and how it works, and perspective, buzzwords that come to mind are the attitude of gratitude, forgiveness played a huge role over the past 18 months, and understanding that that's very powerful, vulnerable. Asking for help, like that first step of just saying, hey man, I don't have this, I need some help. And
humility.
And it's just taught me how to be a better human being. Service work was just I didn't understand what that really was. So service work is a huge thing that comes up, and my connection with God, you know, it's been, and my family and those around me and the relationships and how I nurture them and just showing up. Like if I say I'm going to do something, there's a 99% chance I'm going to do it, which feels really, really good.
Integrity. And
I can control how my day goes, and my routine in the morning is, I mean, yeah, I'm having a good time of taking somebody that was completely shot out, who had just lost his job, was getting cars repoed, and on the verge of death, to, you know, just fucking kicking every day in the ass and bringing it, you know, and I choose education over entertainment these days. There's just been a complete flip upside down of my mindset,
your outlook.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing is my mind over the past 18 months.
So when you first came in, you the Chris who sat here day one isn't the same Chris who's sitting here, you know, 18 months later, obviously,
no.
Right? But what about that person who's watching, or maybe they know someone, the person who's watching? What advice would you give them? They're day zero, right? They're not even day one. Like, what advice could you give about someone who's maybe curious about moving forward, changing their life in that way?
I would say if you're ready to rock, reach out and talk to a confidant and give them, you know, break it out and give them a little taste and see what they do with it. Typically, what I found is you're going to find nothing but support. So I think just kind of going out there and saying, listen, here's where I'm at is a big first step. But if you're like on the fence, you know, I don't know, you know, that's hard. You might want to just keep it running. You know, you might need to find a bottom. But I would, I think it depends on what your goals and your values are. You know, and for me, I wasn't reaching the goals. I was not living on a value-based life. So, you know, I asked for some help. So I think the number one start to it would be to go to somebody and say, hey, I'm dealing with this, and get their reaction and kind of take it from there.
Yeah, humbly ask for help.
Yeah, humbly ask for some help.
100%.
Because you're in this, like, shame. You don't want anyone. You're supposed to be, like, you know, vice president, this, that, and fucking, you know, living in fucking, yeah. It's like, yo, you can't be, yo, by the way, I have a fucking $300 drug habit a day. You know, and I can't get out of bed without this. Like, that's a tough spot to be in.
Absolutely.
But guess what? It's not our fault. Pills showed up in my town. It was an epidemic. So, like, if you just flip your thinking, like, yo, I survived an epidemic, motherfucker. That's cool. You know, I made it out. And now I get to have a story
help
to tell.
Others.
And now I get to help other people.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. We partied and it got a little crazy. They just happened to give us these little pills that were filled with, like, these drugs that you couldn't fucking get off. Like, literally, if you stop taking them, you can't even, you can't function. So it's like not even your fault. I didn't know, like, you could just go to rehab and, like, they give you medicine to not feel as bad, and chef and all this. Like, I would have done it a long time ago, man. It's brutal.
Chef. You could have saved yourself.
Ask for some help, man. Go to rehab, do some work. I don't know. You know, maybe you'll drink one day, but, like, just get some help and get off, like, the bad shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, so Bill, I mean, you're in a similar situation. You're not at 18 months, but you've had sobriety, significant years and years of sobriety in the past. You know, you're sitting here now 10 months sober, and something you mentioned off camera is it doesn't feel like a long time that you've been sober. But when you saw Chris hit that same milestone when you were much earlier on, at least on this journey, it felt like a long time for him to have accomplished. So do you still feel that same way, or I mean, maybe your perspective is shifted?
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I would have over a year now. Besides, then I got in my accident, so that still bothers me a little bit. Like, fuck, I should have over a year right now. But no, when I had, I guess 2 months. It must be 2 months now. Chris had 10 months, and I remember going, fuck, man, that's like a lot of time. Wow, that's really good. And now I'm at 10 months. I'm like, doesn't seem like that much. I don't know why it feels that way. It's a weird feeling. Like, I'm not giving myself enough credit, and I don't think I have through this whole sobriety. I've been really hard-headed with thinking this is the way I'm supposed to be anyways. This isn't special. I'm not doing anything special, but I am. When I sit down and think about all the work I do on a daily basis, where I don't I lose time with my family. I lose time with my son. I lose time with my wife. For me, it's a lot of work you do have to put into it. But luckily, I'm surrounded by a couple guys that I enjoy doing it with, whether it be golfing or working or even my therapist. I like my therapist, surprisingly. It is an accomplishment, and I have to, accept that I am doing very well. But it's weird. It's still, I have 4 years before this last bad run, and that can bother a lot of people, and it's bothered me that I had those 4 years and now I lost them, and it puts a lot of people back into the drug game and into the lost in the sauce again. And that you've got to be careful of that. And I've noticed myself kind of feeling down about that again. Like, fuck, I'm only 10 months. I try not to even look at my days because it bothers me a little. Like, fuck, I should be 8 years right now, not 10 months. But no, I'm starting to finally enjoy things again, which is it's huge. And my advice to anybody who's getting sober, you really have to want it. I thought I wanted it, got in an accident, got some Vikes in me, and I forgot how bad I wanted it. And then literally within 3 weeks, I wanted to put a gun in my mouth and kill myself from all that. And now I'm not in that place. I might not be in a perfect spot.
I got a quick analogy I'll share. So like in the beginning for someone new, I would compare it like this. I think I've told Ryan this story before. In the beginning, like partying for me was like baseball cards. You got the Dwight Gooden, you got the Darryl Strawberry, you're trading with your neighbor, your boy you grew up with. This was everything. Baseball cards, right? That's me partying, Vegas, Dre's, all the bullshit, right? And then you're at a small town and a hot girl moves into the house next door, right? And you meet this hot girl and then you kiss her. Who the fuck gives a shit about baseball cards?
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at. Like, where I've gone, like, spiritually and growing, like, things start to happen, Oh, yeah. And, like, right now, I kiss the girl, and I'm like, baseball cards? I don't have time for that. Like, I'm over here with this girl. So, like, if you can buy into that, like, it's a whole... We're not down here on Earth. That's all a distraction. Like, I'm down here to learn, grow, and go up and fight the real war. So like I'm a Life Path 9. If anyone knows what that is, you know what I'm talking about. This is my last run here, so I'm gonna make it count. They tried to take me out. They tried to take what? It's my last run.
No, I know.
I feel like you're gonna get up like, Shay, come on up. They're like, they almost got you, huh, boy? Like, you were close.
I compared it to me and you talked about this a couple weeks ago. I compared stopping drugs was to breaking up with a girlfriend when you're young and dumb, and how you think it's the end of the world,
the love of your
life, and you think it's the end of the world, and then 2 weeks later you don't think about her for 1 minute of the day, and you're like, how did I not think about her? And then 2 months later you don't think about her for 1 hour, and then eventually it gets to, wow, I didn't think about her for a whole day, and then I don't even remember why I even like this person. I don't even remember the person. And I'm on that road now. I don't think about it near as much as I used to, but I miss, I miss her sometimes.
I miss her.
It happens. You know what I mean? And that goes with time and work. Time and work.
I think 2 minutes left.
Very appropriate. Time and work for sure. Well, let's wrap it up with this. So, obviously, I'm sitting here six plus years. Yeah. Do either of you have a question for me about my recovery?
I always ask you, I mean, you're in the recovery business, but let's say 10 years out, you're not in this business. Things are going really well. You're about to get married. Are you sipping champagne?
So it's a good question. It's a good question.
You got a minute.
And it's actually a lot of people's there's no way I can do this in a minute. But the short and sweet of it is no. That's how I feel today. In 10 years, could that mindset change? Maybe. But I know enough about my brain that it's just not a sip of champagne for me. I wish it was. I really do. I wish I could just hit a blunt once after work or have a little shandy on the weekend, but that's just not how my brain works. It goes straight to the deep and the dark and the severe very quickly. So for me, it's an absolute no. You had a pain management situation. Like, those are unfortunate circumstances, but there are ways to effectively manage that, in recovery.
Love you, Hefe.
I love you too, Hefe, man. But with that being said, man, I know we're running out of time here, but to bring it to a close, if there's someone out there, maybe it's someone yourself, and you're struggling, or you're on the fence, or maybe you're new, or maybe you're old, or whatever it is, if you guys want some perspective or have questions to ask to either of the three of us, or experience to share, we'd love to hear from you. You can do all that stuff anonymously through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever avenue of choice. You don't even have to put your name on it if you don't want to. Or a friend of mine is dealing with a situation. But we love the continued support, guys. As we sort of wrap up, I just want to give a shout out to a bunch of the people who are tuned in. I think the Instagram feed's over. But for everyone who comes back and watches this show on another one, shout out to everyone who was on Instagram. My boy Dark, my boy Ben, my boy Chris. Thank you guys, man, for tuning in. And hopefully you got something out of this show. We got another Game of Thrones episode coming up next week. We'll deep dive
Shout out
into
to
that
my boy
well.
Eric, who reached out about the rock bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Amazing.
I think he's still drinking.
Amazing.
No blow. No coke.
Yeah,
he's
we'll-
down 15 pounds in 2 weeks.
we'll
He's riding his
reevaluate,
bike.
You know what I mean? We'll
Yeah, we
reevaluate
talk every
and-
Monday at 12 o'clock.
Good.
So it's fun. It's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep you guys updated on
this
Eric.
journey's not for everyone, but if you think it might be for you, good chances are that it is probably for you.
Ooh.
Like, if you gotta ask, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, then let's take a closer look at your behavior.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, we love you guys. We love the continued support. Remember, we got Lost in the Sauce Show on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, I believe, and all those different venues. Chris, your Instagram is Chris Shabo.
Chris Shabo.
I'm Killshot CA. Bill Brown with No Hope On.
No Hope On.
NoHopeOn.com.
Yes, sir.
Is there a hyphen in there, underscore, or dot? Nothing?
Nope, just nohopeon.com. Straight.
We're getting back into skydiving. That's coming up soon. We got the golf and stuff. So if you guys are local, you want to get involved, feel free to reach out. We can hopefully set something up. Can't afford it. I can't promise you that we'll go ahead and pay for everything, but we'll do our best to be able to put together something special so we can all sort of participate. But with that being said, man, we love you guys. It was a great show. We will see you next week.
Peace out.
Lost in the Sauce Show.